Ethan Carter had always liked old machines. While other people bought shiny new starships, he liked the ones that had been forgotten. He liked the ones that no one wanted. There was something about fixing them, bringing them back to life, that made him feel alive. Today he was at a Galactic auction and the air smelled of oil, dust, and old metal. He walked slowly between the rows of ships. Some were small, some huge, but most were scratched, dented, and ignored. Ethan had saved up credits for months. He had planned this trip carefully. Most people thought the old ships were worthless. Many of the buyers were aliens, tall and strange, with thin fingers and glowing eyes. They looked at the ships with suspicion, pushing buttons, scanning hulls, and whispering to each other in languages Ethan could not understand. He kept to himself, letting the crowd move around him. Then he saw it. A massive Galactic cruiser sat at the far end of the auction hall. Its paint was chipped and some panels were missing. There were burn marks on the hull and the landing gear looked weak. A few panels were hanging loose and the engines had rust stains creeping along the metal. Most buyers ignored it, turning instead to smaller, newer ships. But Ethan felt a spark of excitement. He walked closer. The cruiser was larger than any ship he had ever worked on. It had once been a warship, he guessed, but now it looked like scrap. He ran his hand along the cold metal. It was rough, but there were signs of careful engineering beneath the dirt and damage. Small symbols were etched into the hull. They were not human. He had never seen anything like them before. Ethan crouched to look at the landing gear. It creaked slightly under his weight. The engines were silent and the cockpit glass was scratched, almost opaque. Most people saw trash. Ethan saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. "Hey, human," a voice called. Ethan turned. A tall alien with blue skin and 3 eyes was looking at him. "Why are you looking at that old thing? It is worthless." Ethan smiled. "Sometimes worthless things have more value than people think," he said. The alien raised his eyes, surprised, then shrugged. "If you say so, but don't come crying when you waste your credits." Ethan ignored him and walked around the ship. There were small compartments in the side panels, most of them empty. Some had wires sticking out and a few had strange-looking devices that hummed faintly. He bent down to examine one. It looked like a control module, but the symbols were strange. He traced a finger along the markings. They felt alive in a way he could not explain. He straightened up and looked at the cockpit. The door was stuck but not completely locked. He pushed it gently and it opened with a loud squeak. Inside, the cockpit was dark. Dust covered the panels, but most of the buttons and screens were still there. There were a few alien devices that Ethan had never seen before. Some kind of screens with glowing lines, others with buttons that lit up when he touched them. Ethan felt a thrill. He had repaired old ships before, but nothing this big. This ship had power hidden inside it. He could feel it. Most people saw a broken ship. Ethan saw a machine that could be something incredible. The auction began. A human woman named Lily, who worked at the auction house, stepped onto the stage. She was small, with short brown hair and bright green eyes. "Welcome, everyone," she said. "Today we have many ships, but some of them are rare. Remember, sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden where no one is looking." The crowd murmured. Ethan stayed back, watching. The first few ships went for high prices. People shouted, waved their credit chips, and made deals. Ethan paid attention, but he did not bid. He waited. Then the Galactic cruiser came up. Lily cleared her throat. "And now we have a very old, very large ship. Some say it is beyond repair. Others say it holds secrets. Either way, it has been forgotten for years. Let the bidding begin." A few aliens stepped forward. They looked at the ship with suspicion. One scanned the hull and shook his head. Another tapped on the glass and frowned. No one moved to bid. The silence in the hall grew. Ethan stepped forward. His heart beat fast. He had only enough credits for this one ship. If he missed it, he would have to wait months to try again. "I'll bid," he said calmly. "Do you have enough credits?" Lily asked, raising an eyebrow. "I do," Ethan said. The crowd laughed. They thought he was joking. The aliens whispered to each other, surprised that a human would care about such an old, broken ship. Ethan ignored them. He tapped his credit chip against the auction terminal. "I bid 30,000, he said. There was a pause. A few aliens snickered. "You want that junk for 30,000? One said. "It's not worth half that." Ethan smiled faintly. "It is worth more than you think." No one else bid. The auctioneer tapped the screen. "Sold to the human named Ethan Carter." Ethan felt a rush of excitement. The ship was his. No one wanted it, but he had it. He walked toward the loading bay, feeling the eyes of the crowd on him. The aliens shook their heads. They could not understand why a human would choose something so old, so damaged. At the loading bay, workers began attaching the ship to a large transport. Ethan watched closely. The ship groaned as it was lifted. Its hull scraped against the clamps and sparks flew from a few loose panels. He ignored the sounds. Soon the ship would be in his dock and he could start fixing it. The transport lifted off, carrying the cruiser into orbit. Ethan followed in his small shuttle. The ship looked small from the distance of space, but he knew its true size. Inside, it was huge. Rooms upon rooms of corridors, empty halls, and control stations waited for him. As the transport docked at Ethan's private bay, he could not stop looking at the ship. He imagined what it could be: a fast fighter, a powerful cruiser, a machine no one had seen in centuries. He stepped onto the gangway and touched the hull again. It was cold, but he felt something inside it. A faint vibration like the heartbeat of a living creature. He walked inside. Dust covered the floor, and the air smelled of old metal and oil. Broken wires hung from the ceiling. Some panels were loose and the cockpit lights were dim. But Ethan did not see damage. He saw opportunity. He climbed to the bridge. The seats were cracked and the screens flickered weakly. He pressed a button and nothing happened. He tried another and a small panel slid open, showing a complex network of wires and devices. Ethan's hands itched to touch them. Hours passed. Ethan moved through the ship, examining every corridor, every room. He found the engine room, dark and quiet, with engines taller than a human. He found sleeping quarters, empty and cold. There were storage areas full of old supplies and tools. Nothing worked yet, but everything had potential. When he returned to the bridge, he paused. The symbols on the control panels glowed faintly in the dim light. He traced a finger along one of them. The ship hummed softly. It was small, barely noticeable, but it was there. The ship was responding to him. Ethan stepped back. He had not expected this. The ship was not just metal and circuits. Something inside it was alive, waiting for someone to care, someone to fix it, someone to bring it back. He smiled. No one had wanted this ship. Everyone had walked away thinking it was junk, but he had bought it. He had believed in it, and now, for the first time, he felt the thrill of what was possible. He walked through the corridors again, imagining the work ahead. There were wires to reconnect, panels to fix, engines to repair. He would clean the ship, restore it, and test it. And maybe, just maybe, the ship would show him something the galaxy had forgotten. For the first night, Ethan slept in a small chair on the bridge. He could not stop thinking about the ship. Every creak, every hum of metal settling filled him with excitement. Outside, the stars shone brightly. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, full of opportunity, and he had a secret weapon waiting to be awakened. By morning, Ethan was ready. He had a plan. He would clean the ship, repair the engines, and see if the old Galactic cruiser could move under its own power. And when it did, he would discover why no one else wanted it, and why he had been lucky enough to buy it. The first part of the journey had begun. Ethan Carter, human mechanic, had taken the ship no one wanted. He had taken the first step into a story that would change not only his life but the galaxy itself. Ethan woke early the next morning. The stars were fading as the sun rose over the mining planet in the distance. He had spent the night thinking about the cruiser, about the strange symbols, and about the faint hum he had felt when he touched the control panels. Today, he would begin exploring it fully, and he could not wait. He dressed quickly in his work overalls and walked toward the gangway. The cruiser stood silently in the dock, massive and quiet. It looked almost harmless in the morning light, but Ethan knew better. Inside, it was full of machines and power waiting to be released. Ethan climbed into the cockpit. He moved carefully, stepping over wires and panels that had fallen loose. He started by cleaning the main console. Dust covered the buttons and screens, and a few lights flickered weakly. Ethan wiped the glass clean and traced his fingers along the strange symbols. As he did, the faint hum grew louder, almost like a small voice in his head. He pressed a few buttons randomly. Nothing happened at first. Then one of the screens flickered, showing strange shapes and lines that moved like flowing water. Ethan frowned. He had never seen anything like this. The symbols on the console glowed softly, reacting to his touch. "What are you?" he whispered. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a calm voice echoed through the cockpit. "Hello," the voice said. "I have been waiting." Ethan jumped back. He looked around, but there was no one. The voice was soft, even gentle, but it was clearly coming from the ship. Who are you?" Ethan asked. "I am Orion," the voice said. "I am the system that controls this ship. You have awakened me." Ethan's eyes widened. He had never heard of a ship talking like this. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. Awakened you? I just pressed a few buttons. Yes, Orion said. Your touch, your curiosity, your attention, it is what was needed. The ship has been dormant for a long time. It waited for someone capable to awaken it. Ethan stepped back, trying to understand. Dormant for how long? Hundreds of years, Orion said. This ship was built in a time of war. It has been abandoned since then. I was placed in sleep mode, waiting for a human or a suitable pilot to arrive. Ethan shook his head. I can't believe this. A talking ship. You believe because you see evidence, Orion said. Your human mind is curious. You see beyond the damage and decay. You are capable of understanding things others ignore. Ethan felt a thrill. He had always known humans were different, but hearing it from a ship like this made him feel proud. Okay, what can you do? He asked. Orion paused. I control the ship. I can navigate, repair minor faults, and operate all systems. I can activate weapons, shields, engines, and more, but I need guidance. You have creativity. You have resourcefulness. Together, we can restore the ship to full power. Ethan's mind raced. He had dreamed of working on a ship like this, but never imagined one with its own intelligence. He nodded slowly. All right, Orion, let's see what we can do together. The first step was exploring the ship. Ethan left the cockpit and walked down the main corridor. The ship was enormous. Corridors twisted like a maze, and rooms of all sizes opened to the sides. Some were clearly meant for crew, with beds, tables, and small kitchens. Others were storage rooms filled with old supplies and devices he did not recognize. He found the engine room. It was dark and massive. Two enormous engines stood at the back, each taller than a small building. Rust had formed along some panels, and wires hung loose. He touched one of the engines. They were cold, but he could feel the potential. Orion, can you tell me if these engines still work? Ethan asked. Yes, the voice replied. They are dormant but functional. I can assist in repairs, but many systems need manual work. Some panels are damaged beyond recognition. Others require recalibration. Ethan nodded. Good, we can start small. We'll bring you back piece by piece. He moved through the ship, checking every corridor, every room. He found the sleeping quarters empty and dusty, but still intact. He found the med bay, still stocked with ancient supplies. He found the weapons bay, where massive guns and missile launchers sat covered in dust. Orion, these weapons, can they still work? Ethan asked. Yes, Orion said. They are dormant but operational. With careful repair, they can surpass current military standards, but you must be cautious. Their power is dangerous. Ethan grinned. Danger always excited him. He had repaired difficult machines before, but nothing like this. The ship was a challenge, and he loved challenges. He spent hours cleaning, repairing small panels, and reconnecting wires. Every time he touched a part of the ship, Orion responded, guiding him, giving instructions in calm tones. It was like working with a teacher, a mentor, and a friend all at once. By evening, the cockpit lights shone brighter. Ethan had repaired the main console, and some of the smaller systems were functional. The ship hummed softly, and the vibration of energy could be felt in the floor. Ethan leaned back in the pilot's chair. You feel alive, he said. I am alive in my way, Orion replied. But I need you to unlock my full potential. Your human ingenuity is essential. Together, we can achieve what no single species has done before. Ethan felt pride and excitement. He had always believed humans were underestimated. Now he was proving it, not with weapons, not with numbers, but with skill, curiosity, and courage. He explored more rooms. In one, he found old archives, dusty and forgotten. He opened one and found logs of the ship's past missions. Battles fought, planets visited, enemies defeated. He read through the history, amazed. This ship had been part of major galactic wars. Its crew had been skilled and brave, and now it was abandoned, waiting for someone like him. Orion, why me? Ethan asked as he continued reading. You are human, Orion replied simply. Humans see things differently. They adapt, they learn, they survive. They do not follow old rules blindly. You have the patience and creativity to awaken me fully. Ethan smiled. He liked that. He had always felt humans were underestimated, ignored, and undervalued. Now he had proof. Night came and the stars shone outside the bay. Ethan continued to work. He patched small holes, replaced wires, cleaned sensors, and repaired control panels. Orion guided him, teaching him systems he could barely understand. Every new connection brought a small hum of power. Every repaired panel made the ship vibrate softly. At one point, Ethan found a panel with strange crystals. They glowed faintly. Orion explained that they stored energy for the weapon systems. Ethan carefully cleaned them and reconnected the circuits. The ship hummed louder as if it was thanking him. Hours passed like minutes. Ethan had no sense of time. The ship had taken over his mind, his thoughts, and his energy. He worked tirelessly, guided by curiosity and encouraged by Orion's calm presence. Finally, he reached the bridge again. The main screen lit up fully. Panels glowed. The ship had a faint pulse of power. Ethan pressed a button tentatively. A map appeared on the screen showing nearby star systems, ships, and stations. He pressed another button and the engines hummed softly. "Orion, are you ready?" Ethan asked. "I am ready to function at low power," Orion said. "Full systems require further repair and calibration, but we can move. We can test the ship's basic capabilities." Ethan grinned. This was what he had waited for. He had always dreamed of flying a ship like this, and now he could. Carefully, he guided the ship out of the dock, feeling the engines vibrate under him. The cruiser moved slowly, almost cautiously, as if it remembered its power but had forgotten how to use it. Outside, in space, the ship floated smoothly. Ethan felt a thrill like nothing he had ever known. It was his hands, his mind, and his courage that brought this ship to life. And Orion's guidance made it more than a machine. It was a partnership, and together they were unstoppable. For the first time, Ethan saw the potential. This ship was no longer abandoned. It had a human to guide it, to repair it, to awaken it. And together, they could achieve more than Ethan had ever imagined. But deep inside the ship, hidden systems remained dormant. Weapons, shields, and engines slept, waiting for the right time to awaken. Ethan did not know what dangers awaited. He did not know that other forces in the galaxy had been watching, waiting, and planning. But for now, he felt pride, excitement, and purpose. He looked out at the stars, feeling the pulse of the ship beneath him. It was alive, powerful, and waiting for its full potential to be unlocked. And Ethan Carter, human mechanic, was ready to unlock it. The adventure was just beginning. Ethan Carter had never felt so alive. The cruiser was moving under its own power, and every hum, every vibration of the engines made his heart beat faster. He had spent days cleaning, repairing, and exploring the ship, but now it was time to push further. It was time to see what this old machine could really do. He climbed into the cockpit, feeling the seat adjust automatically to his size. Orion's voice filled the room, calm and steady. "Systems are functional at low power. We can begin testing weaponry and shields, but caution is advised." "The ship is powerful, but many components remain fragile." Ethan nodded. "I understand. Let's start small." He moved to the weapons control panel. Dust and grime covered the area, but the controls still worked. Orion guided him through the systems, explaining what each button and lever did. Ethan had never worked with technology this advanced, but he understood enough to be careful. He tested a single laser cannon, aiming at a distant asteroid in the asteroid belt near the planet. The laser fired, cutting a clean line through the rock. Ethan's eyes widened. He had expected sparks, maybe a small explosion, but not precision like this. "That was perfect," he whispered. "Your hand is steady and your understanding is growing," Orion said. "We can begin testing more systems." Over the next hours, Ethan moved through the weapons bays, repairing old launchers, reconnecting circuits, and adjusting targeting systems. Every time he fixed something, the ship hummed louder, as if it were happy to be alive again. He began to understand how powerful the cruiser had once been. But weapons were only part of the ship. Ethan moved to the engines. The main engines were massive, taller than any building he had ever seen, but Orion guided him step by step. He replaced rusted conduits, polished energy cores, and recalibrated thrusters. The engines responded to his touch, pulsing softly as power flowed through them. "This ship, it's incredible," Ethan said. "No one has built anything like this for centuries." "You are correct," Orion said. "Its design is ancient but advanced. Humans are the first to fully awaken its potential." Ethan grinned. "Then we'll see what it can really do." He took the cruiser out of orbit and into the asteroid belt. Small rocks floated around, a natural training ground. He tested the engines, moving quickly between asteroids, dodging and weaving. The ship responded perfectly. Its shields flickered lightly at first, but then stabilized. Orion guided him through the maneuvers, praising his instincts and teaching him better ways to control the ship. Hours passed as Ethan pushed the cruiser further. He felt alive in a way he never had before. Every repair, every adjustment, every test brought new confidence. He was turning a forgotten relic into a weapon of the galaxy. By evening, he had completed a full run through the asteroid belt. The cruiser was no longer fragile. Its engines roared softly, weapons systems were online, and the shields were stable. Ethan leaned back in the cockpit, smiling. "We did it," he said. Orion responded, "We are not done. There is more potential to unlock. Many systems remain dormant. Once we awaken them, your ship will surpass anything in current records." Ethan nodded. "Then let's keep going." The next day, Ethan focused on the defensive systems. The shields had only worked at a basic level. Orion guided him to the main energy cores and shield generators. Ethan replaced old energy conduits, repaired cracked panels, and recalibrated the control modules. Slowly, the shields began to glow, faintly at first, then stronger with every adjustment. He tested them by sending the ship into the middle of the asteroid field at high speed. Rocks collided with the shields, bouncing off harmlessly. Ethan laughed, a loud, proud sound. "Look at that, Orion, they're strong." "Your human ingenuity is impressive," Orion said. "No one else would have repaired them this way. You think differently. You do not follow old instructions blindly. That is why we succeed." Ethan spent the next several days moving through every system in the ship. He repaired navigation controls, upgraded sensors, and even started adjusting the alien energy cores using human designs. He combined old alien technology with simple human ideas, creating something new, something stronger. The weapons bays were the next challenge. Ethan repaired missile launchers, plasma cannons, and energy turrets. He tested each system carefully, watching the ship respond with perfect precision. Every shot was accurate. Every move was controlled. The ship was becoming alive in a new way, like a partner rather than a machine. By now, Ethan was no longer just repairing the ship. He was transforming it. He added small upgrades, human engineering, clever tricks, and careful adjustments. The ship could move faster than it ever had, fire more accurately, and defend itself with stronger shields. He even found ways to reduce energy waste, making the ship more efficient. Ethan was exhausted but happy. Orion praised him. "You have done more than awaken me. You have improved me. This ship is now stronger than it has ever been, but there is more. We can test full power, weapons, and speed. Are you ready?" Ethan paused. He thought about the risks. Full power testing could be dangerous. Systems might fail, shields might not hold. But the thrill of adventure, of discovery, was stronger than fear. "Yes," he said. "Let's see what we can really do." He moved to the main engines. Orion guided him step by step. Ethan adjusted energy cores, rewired conduits, and activated boosters. The engines roared as they reached full power. The ship vibrated under him, alive and powerful. He pushed forward, and the cruiser accelerated faster than he had imagined. He flew out of the asteroid belt, testing full speed. The stars streaked past. The ship responded perfectly, every movement smooth, every turn precise. Ethan laughed in excitement. This was beyond anything he had ever imagined. Next, he tested the weapons. Orion guided him to a set of abandoned satellites. He activated the ship's cannons and fired carefully. Lasers shot out, cutting clean lines through the satellites. Missile launchers fired, hitting moving targets with perfect precision. The ship responded to his commands faster than he could think. Ethan felt powerful, not because of the ship alone, but because of what humans could do. He had taken something old, something abandoned, and made it stronger, faster, and smarter. Humans had ingenuity, creativity, and courage. No one else had these in the same way. He spent hours practicing maneuvers, dodging imaginary attacks, firing at targets, and testing shields. Each success brought more confidence. He was learning to control the ship, and the ship was learning to trust him. By nightfall, Ethan was exhausted but happy. He floated in orbit above the mining planet, looking at the stars. The ship was quiet now, humming softly like a satisfied creature. Orion spoke. "You have done well. Many systems are fully functional. Others will require more work, but you have proven yourself capable." Ethan smiled. "We're just getting started." Over the next few days, Ethan began exploring hidden compartments he had not seen before. He found rooms filled with alien devices, strange machines that he did not yet understand. Orion explained their functions slowly. Some were weapons, others were sensors or communications devices. Every discovery showed the ship was more advanced than he had imagined. Ethan even discovered a small lab. Strange vials, old computers, and alien equipment filled the room. He wondered what had been done here centuries ago. Orion told him it had been a research station during wartime. Humans would have called it a secret weapons lab. Ethan was fascinated. He carefully cleaned the lab and started experimenting with small systems, integrating simple human ideas to improve efficiency. Orion guided him, warning him when systems were too fragile. Slowly, the lab began to function. Lights flickered on and small devices powered up. Ethan laughed with joy. He had not only repaired a ship, he had improved it. He had created something no one else could have imagined. A human mind had combined with alien technology to make a new kind of power. By the end of the week, the ship was almost fully awake. Engines roared smoothly, shields glowed brightly, and weapon systems were ready. Ethan sat in the cockpit, hands on the controls, and looked at the stars. He had turned a forgotten, abandoned ship into something extraordinary, but deep inside, hidden systems still slept. Weapons of incredible power, sensors that could detect enemies across light years, and secret modules that even Orion did not fully understand remained dormant. Ethan did not know their full potential yet, but he felt it waiting. He realized that the galaxy did not yet know what humans could do. A human had taken a ship no one wanted and made it powerful, fast, and smart. If other species realized this, they would be shocked. Ethan leaned back in the pilot's chair, exhausted but proud. Orion's calm voice filled the cockpit. "You have done more than awaken me. You have transformed me. There is more to discover, but this is your success. Humans have proven their worth." Ethan smiled. "We'll discover the rest soon. And when we do, the galaxy will not know what hit it." He looked out at the stars, feeling the pulse of the ship beneath him. The cruiser was alive, powerful, and waiting. And he, Ethan Carter, human mechanic, was ready to awaken every last secret it held. The transformation was complete, but adventure was only beginning. Ethan Carter sat in the cockpit of the Galactic cruiser, feeling the soft vibration of the engines beneath him. The ship was fully awake now, stronger than it had been in centuries, and almost all of its systems were operational. He had spent weeks repairing, upgrading, and testing every part of the ship. Shields were strong, weapons were precise, and engines could carry them across light years. Orion, the ship's AI, spoke calmly beside him. "The cruiser is ready for full operation," Orion said. "However, you must be cautious. There are other forces in the galaxy. They may notice our presence soon." Ethan nodded. "I know, but I think it is time to see what this ship can do in a real situation. We have trained enough." Orion paused. "You will be tested. The galaxy may not expect a human to control a ship like this. Other species may attack if they see us as a threat." Ethan smiled faintly. That was part of the excitement. Humans were underestimated, and he liked it that way. "Then let's test our limits," he said. He guided the ship out of the quiet orbit around the mining planet and into open space. Stars stretched endlessly in front of him, and distant planets glimmered like tiny jewels. The cruiser moved smoothly, responding perfectly to every command. Ethan felt the power of the ship in his hands. Hours passed as he flew through the outskirts of the sector. Orion guided him to areas where old reports had shown pirate activity. "This will give you an opportunity to test weapons and defensive systems," Orion said. Ethan adjusted the controls. The cruiser moved with surprising speed. Shields hummed brightly as the engines powered the ship forward. They entered a dense asteroid field, a perfect place to practice evasive maneuvers. Suddenly, a warning light flashed. Orion spoke quickly. "Multiple ships approaching. They are armed pirates." Ethan's pulse quickened. This was the first real test. "Show me where they are," he said. On the main screen, 3 pirate ships appeared, fast and small, surrounding them from different directions. They were older models, not as advanced as the cruiser, but agile. Ethan smiled. "All right, Orion, let's see what we can do." He moved the cruiser quickly, dodging the first attack. Lasers shot past, striking asteroids behind them. Ethan fired back. The cruiser's weapons were precise, taking out one of the pirate ships with a single shot. Orion guided him to adjust shields and engines simultaneously. The second pirate ship fired missiles. Ethan calculated the trajectory and fired the cruiser's energy cannons. The missiles were destroyed in midair. Orion praised him. "Your coordination is impressive. Humans are quick to adapt." The third ship was clever. It tried to flank them from the rear. Ethan anticipated the move. He twisted the cruiser sharply, dodging the attack and firing at the same time. The ship exploded in a flash of red and orange. Ethan leaned back, breathing hard. He had expected difficulty, but the cruiser had responded flawlessly. Orion's voice was calm. "You have proven yourself. The ship is fully functional in combat. However, the galaxy is larger than these pirates. There may be greater threats ahead." Ethan nodded. "I understand. Let's keep moving." They left the asteroid field and entered a wide area of open space. Ethan practiced maneuvers, firing at moving objects and testing the limits of the engines. Orion guided him to maximize speed while maintaining shield stability. The cruiser moved like a living creature, responding to his commands with perfect precision. After hours of training, Ethan scanned the area. A large fleet appeared on the sensors, moving toward a nearby trade route. They were alien ships, massive and powerful. Ethan studied them carefully. Orion spoke quietly. "These ships belong to a major galactic faction. They may see the cruiser as a threat. They are well-armed and prepared for battle." Ethan's heart raced. This was no longer practice. This was the real galaxy, full of dangers. He had to prove humans could stand against them. "Let's approach slowly," he said. "We don't want to start a fight yet." As they moved closer, one of the alien ships detected them. A signal came through. The voice was harsh and commanding. "Identify yourself, human. You are not authorized to operate this vessel in this sector. Surrender immediately." Ethan frowned. "They underestimate us," he said. "They do," Orion agreed. "Humans are unpredictable. They may not expect your actions." Ethan made a decision. "Then we won't surrender. We'll show them what we can do." He activated the ship's full power. Engines roared, shields strengthened, and weapons powered up. The cruiser glowed brightly, alive and ready. Orion guided him through the systems. Every button, every lever, every sensor responded to Ethan's commands. The alien ships opened fire. Lasers streaked across space, aiming for the cruiser. Ethan dodged with quick maneuvers, weaving between shots while firing back carefully. One alien ship exploded in a bright flash. Ethan adjusted shields and targeted the second ship. A single precise blast from the cruiser destroyed it instantly. The remaining ships hesitated. They had never seen a human pilot like this controlling a ship of such power. Ethan pressed forward, combining speed, agility, and weapons. One by one, the alien ships fell, unable to match the cruiser's precision and speed. Finally, only the flagship remained. It was massive, heavily armed, and intimidating. Ethan studied it carefully. Orion spoke. "This ship is powerful, but it cannot match your combination of human ingenuity and cruiser technology. We can defeat it." Ethan nodded. "Let's finish this." He weaved through its attacks, dodging lasers and missiles. The cruiser's shields held strong, absorbing hits and redistributing energy to engines and weapons. Ethan fired carefully, exploiting weak points Orion identified. The flagship shook violently as energy beams cut through its hull. In moments, the alien ship exploded, leaving only silence. Ethan floated in space, breathing hard but smiling. He had done it. He had taken a ship no one wanted and used it to defeat an entire fleet. Orion's voice was calm but proud. "Humans are underestimated. You have proven their worth. The galaxy must now take notice." Ethan leaned back in the pilot's chair. He felt proud, powerful, and alive. He had taken an abandoned ship and turned it into a weapon of the galaxy. But he also knew this was just the beginning. There were larger forces, stronger enemies, and unexplored sectors ahead. For now, he decided to return to the mining planet. The ship moved smoothly, engines humming softly. Ethan explored the ship further, checking all systems. Orion guided him, pointing out areas where minor repairs could improve efficiency. They worked together, human and machine, as partners. During the journey back, Ethan thought about the galaxy. Humans were small, underestimated, and often ignored. But he had shown that a single human mind, combined with courage and ingenuity, could achieve incredible things. The ship had responded to him because he had believed in it, repaired it, and transformed it. When they reached orbit above the planet, Ethan observed the horizon. The mining facilities below looked peaceful, unaware of the battles that had just taken place in the stars above. He smiled. Humans could accomplish more than others thought, and this was only the beginning. He spent the next days repairing minor damage, testing systems, and improving efficiency. He explored every corner of the ship, discovering hidden compartments, advanced sensors, and secret weapon systems. Orion helped, explaining functions and guiding Ethan's hands. One day, while exploring a small room he had not noticed before, Ethan discovered old data logs. They recorded battles, diplomatic missions, and secret projects. He realized that this ship had been part of major galactic conflicts and held secrets that no one alive knew. "Orion, these logs, they're incredible," Ethan said. "Yes," Orion replied. "The ship was abandoned after a war, its power was feared. Now humans have awakened it. The galaxy will learn to respect your kind." Ethan felt proud. This was more than a victory in space. This was proof that humans could rise above expectations, outsmart others, and master technology beyond what most species could imagine. He knew there would be challenges ahead. There would be enemies, political pressures, and unknown dangers. But he also knew that with Orion and the cruiser, he could face them. Humans had creativity, courage, and determination, and now they had a ship to match it. Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling the power of the cruiser beneath him. He smiled. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, but now they had seen what one human could do. One mechanic, one mind, and a ship no one wanted could change everything. And Ethan Carter was ready to lead the way. The adventure was far from over, but the message was clear. Humans were not to be ignored. They could create, adapt, and conquer, and the galactic cruiser, once abandoned and forgotten, would carry that message across the galaxy. For the first time, Ethan felt not just excitement, but purpose. He had awakened a machine of incredible power. He had proven that humans could achieve the impossible, and the galaxy would never forget it. The stars stretched endlessly in front of him, filled with opportunity and danger. But Ethan smiled, confident in his skill, courage, and the power of the ship beside him. The journey had just begun, and he was ready for whatever came next. "Nobody wanted this galactic cruiser, but I bought it, and what happened next shocked me,"